Hi guys, looks like we have about 11 folks with us so far, so we'll go ahead and get started in a moment or two. One thing I'd like to say before we begin, you guys blew me away again this week with the articles that you posted. By the time I had pulled all the articles into a folder that I wanted to look over to do for tonight, I had to pull well over half of them into next week. And if you keep on giving me good articles, I'm never going to get through them. So, oh well, we'll just get the cream of the crop and we'll just go forward with that. So that's really good. I was pleased with most of the papers. It seemed, that you guys took pretty well to learning APA on the fly there. So I gave you that quick tutorial on APA, and hopefully that helped a little bit. And because the papers turned out, pretty good. Some of you kind of skimped on the length a little bit, and I struggle with that sometimes. So when we get to the final paper, make sure that the final has full pages. If I say 3 pages, do 3 full pages of text. So you got the title page, you got the references page, and then 3 full pages in between. Okay, so usually it'll go on to 6 total pages when you add them all up, because you'll be a little bit onto the 4th page. That's prime. That's the way I like to see it. I like it to develop your ideas, present the ideas in a good introduction, and let it flow through the body, proving the point, either analyzing or comparing or whatever I've asked you to do, and then getting a good conclusion that concludes or answers the question, telling me how you've answered the introduction question. So it's kind of a cookie cutter sort of way to approach things. So you should be able to do it point by point and go right on through the paper. Alrighty, so yeah, we've got a few more people. How many does it? You don't have that up. So we've got quite a few people.
For you.
Okay.
Looks like we're at 22.
About 22 people online. Hey, we got a good attendance. Good attendance again. Alrighty. Well, let's launch into my first topic. My first topic basically is a web page I found, and here I want you to kind of take a look at it. It's from a chartered accountants company in Australia, New Zealand. Okay, so it's a company I run into quite a bit when I look for accounting information. And what I'd like you to do, there are 4 jokes on this page. I want to see if you can find all 4 of them, okay? They're accounting jokes. So we're doing this instead of doing the Kahoot this time. So see if you can find 4 different ones. So who'll be the first to find the first one, the second, third, and fourth? Give you a few moments here. Hopefully you can read it well enough.
I'm going to do a quick modification, and hopefully it doesn't mess things up. If it does, I apologize.
Are you going to increase the size?
No, I am going to
because I was going to
fix the coloration here just a
Okay.
little bit. Hopefully clean up the background a touch for you.
Okay, so Logan, you just came in. So Logan, we're looking at this web page and we're finding 4 accounting jokes. Now, remember, accountants are pretty dry. Basically, that means that a joke might not be a joke. Accurate is spelled wrong. Well, that's not one that I found. Where is that?
I think they may have found the joke and not recognized it there.
The ending has a taxing play on words. Yes, there's one. Pun. Yep. Okay. That's punny. Okay. Okay. Where do I see accurate?
I think they saw accrual and were thinking accurate.
Is that what you meant? Yep, rest assurance is one of the ones. You would usually say rest assured, but most accountants give you the assurance that your taxes are paid well or that your accounting books are right. Accrual instead of accrual is one. So we've got 3 out of them. 3 out of the 4. The other one, it took me a while to find, and then I realized, oh gosh, they did that too. So it's a cruel world when you can't find what you're looking for. That's one. Rest assurance. It's supposed to be apologize. Well, this is the Queen's English. It's not U.S. English. So apologize is spelled with an S. Because Benjamin Franklin, when he built the dictionary for the United States, corrected all the weird things. And so we pronounce it apologize. So he spelled it with a Z, which made a whole lot of sense to Ben Franklin. And that's why we've got so many different spellings for what we do. That button. All right. Ha ha.
Well, I think the last one is a little bit too obscure.
The last one might be too obscure.
It's the one that I couldn't find either.
Does that everybody give up? Affecting instead of affecting. This could be affecting your search. Yeah, it's not the proper use of affecting, that's for sure. I didn't think that was necessarily a joke, but I didn't notice it because I always do those wrong. I wait for spell check to tell me that I've used the wrong form of that. All right, so usually it's double entry accounting. Can anybody see where they use the word double?
Yeah, this one's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a stretch. Rest assurance, we've double checked and still can't find your page. So no computers double check. They just don't find it and they throw you an error. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I thought this was a bit of humor that I enjoyed when I got to it. I said, oh, you've got to be kidding. I saw this first and then realized that there were others. So that was cool. Thank you for humoring me. Okay. All right. The next one, let me just bring this up here. Got any water? What was that? What did I miss?
He says, got any water to go with that humor? It's a bit dry.
Yes, it's a bit dry, yes. All right. Well, what I'd like to go over now is blockchain trends for 2023. Now, believe it or not, 2 of you submitted articles on blockchain trends this week. And you may have noticed, maybe not, that the 2 articles that were posted were from 2 different authors. And basically, those 2 different authors took a totally different perspective on what the blockchain trends are going to be. So what I'd like to do is kind of go through those and kind of give you my take on those trends, first of all, and see where they go. The first author was Ahmed Banafa at OpenMind. His first trend, he said, was we're going to be moving into blockchain 4.0. Now, this is a really good page simply because, blockchain 1 is basically when Bitcoin came out and it was just all about cryptocurrencies, okay? And then Ethereum came out and blockchain 2 was born. All of a sudden they realized blockchain could be used for more than just exchanging coin between 2 people who wanted to pay one another. Okay, so we've got blockchain 2 then, and now then we go a little bit further and we've got blockchain 3, which was when the distributed applications came into being. And really we're kind of in the middle of that distributed application angst and challenges right now with all of the distributed finance that's getting robbed of funds and bad smart contracts being written that left holes in it for people who could steal money. All kinds of challenges with the distributed applications, trying to make those public but not having them well enough distributed so they become vulnerable. all kinds of issues with those where we saw quite a bit of money stolen last year. We've talked about that in previous topics. Well, soon we're going to turn the corner and we're going to get into this blockchain 4 era. Now, the blockchain 4 era is going to be a lot of different things. And what Banafa starts with is the Web 3.0 interface. In other words, the blockchain being able to drive the data back into web pages and allow those web pages to be more dynamic, running smart contracts as well. And then he talks about the Metaverse, which is, a reality that's not a reality, so we'll move on. So Web 3.0 is an autonomous, open, intelligent internet, rely on decentralized protocols, which blockchain, of course, can provide. So there's a lot of people that have a lot of hope for Web 3.0. I'm not seeing a whole lot of development in that direction, to be frank. Although there's a lot of people that still want to keep hanging their hat on this idea that we're going to have a blockchain-driven web and it's going to be revolutionary and it's going to take us beyond this Web 2.0 era that we've been in, where we could now post videos and do social media and all of those type of things. So we'll see what it has to offer. I think all it's going to do is it's going to be an invisible add-on to the back end that's going to possibly automate and possibly give more value to the things we already do. So it'll be pretty much invisible to users. So I don't know how much benefit that's really going to be. But let's move on. The Metaverse, okay? This wonderful place that is virtual reality. If anybody watched Ready Player One, they're talking basically about that kind of an immersive environment where you could get into it and be part of that environment, play in it, and basically have an avatar that has a totally different life than you have. Whether that'll happen or not, don't know. Whether the technology is going to get strong enough for people on the individual level like you and me to be able to, one, afford it, and two, have it so that it's enjoyable without having to have a massive headset with a screen attached to your eyes. It's got to come a very long way in order to get here. So it's a neat concept, neat idea, and we'll see if it goes anywhere. Right now, I'm not excited at all about the quote-unquote metaverse games that are out there. For one, they're expensive to get into, and two, they just don't have much to offer. Go ahead.
Yeah, anybody who's been in a business meeting lately, most of the time people just stay on voice if they aren't muted. Very few people who get on video unless you're required to or unless you're the speaker. So we don't use the next level of communication unless we kind of need it. So to me, the idea of the metaverse, the being in the virtual reality space, yeah, there's a lot of fun things you can do there, but most of the time when you're in a meeting with your coworkers, whatever else, you don't need to see an avatar. You don't need to see the video. Hearing the voice is enough for the communication. And really, it feels like a solution begging for a problem to solve. It feels more niche than the rest of the applications we've seen before.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as we go through the rest of his list, the other 8 get to be a little bit more viable. And so we'll just look at the rest of his list. It talks about stablecoins. Now, there is an awful lot of upstream, fighting upstream with stablecoins. I mean, stablecoins have really, really gotten the attention of regulators. Number one, stablecoins compete with what they want to do for central bank digital currencies, and they don't like it. Number one, the international concerns that are talking about central bank digital currencies and other ways to make money flow across borders are dead set against having stablecoins compete with the CBDCs. And they're looking for ways that they could cohabitate, but I don't think they're really all that serious about allowing stablecoins at the same time as CBDCs. So we'll see. The next thing he notes is social networking, which is one of those metaverse, one of those Web3 actually items that really would benefit social networking in the respect that once you write it to the blockchain, nobody could erase it. In other words, this idea of getting canceled by Twitter or YouTube or Facebook is supposed to be a thing of the past, a lot like Bitcoin was supposed to become the currency above fiat currencies. We'll see. We'll see if that does it. Interoperability between blockchain networks, he says, is something that would happen in 2023. Right now, they call them bridges that go between two networks, and bridges have been incredibly vulnerable to hacks and theft of cryptocurrencies. So we'll see. Finance will adopt blockchain, and yes, we've seen Chase Bank investigating, and several other the large banks actually beginning to adopt blockchain networks and moving fiat currency through crypto to its location, where it can then be that currency could be exchanged at the location that you've sent it to. So yes, finance is adopting blockchain in, basically dipping their big toe in a little bit at a time. The Open Mind article said that government will start adopting blockchain. And of course, last week we saw how California DMV was going to implement a blockchain. So we're beginning to see that. Now, coming up, you're going to start seeing Internet of Things being attached to a blockchain. Blockchain makes things move a lot faster than regular centralized databases. When a node can be part of a car, for example, and that IoT is communicating that regular car's data to a traffic blockchain, let's say, what ends up being the case is since it has the data, it can refer to its own data, and it's getting constant updates from other drivers in the area where it can call through and get pertinent data. Now, one thing that's going to help that a lot is getting solid deployment of fifth generation cell phone towers in locations. IoT in a blockchain for auto driving and various other aspects really won't work until you've got good, robust communications. And so 5G is going to nearly be a necessity in order to get IoT to work with that. And then, of course, you're going to embed AI into the blockchain. You're going to embed AI into the smart contracts. And the AI will begin to be able to make decisions based on input from the smart contract. It's not going to be totally an if-then constantly. It's going to be get input, act on input, move to do the next task and next process, okay? And then the Open Mind last on the end of that list says there's going to be a high demand for experts, basically programmers, to build blockchain networks for business and blockchain networks that will benefit regular folks like you and me, that we can join them, okay? Now, this is the list that came out first, okay? This is the list that Ahmed Banafa at Open Mind put together. So what's interesting is the other article was seemingly on a different page, like she was on a different planet, because she says that the things that are going to come about this next year are going to be a focus on value chains. In other words, her focus was more on, well, how is it going to benefit business? Okay, so value chains really are supply chains on communication, transfer of finances and money, and that entire value chain aspect of business and information flows. She said it would allow better international trade, decentralized finance and banking, which we saw in the other list, crypto and online payments. We see a little bit of that being embedded in PayPal and Visa. We talked a couple weeks ago. She sees more of that happening and it becoming more prevalent in the public domain, and more adoption by enterprises. Yeah, that's what this whole class is about. And more blockchain-based applications out in the public domain. And I would agree with pretty much everything. But what's really, really interesting is that this list is so much different than the things on this list. So you've got two different perspectives and a lot of good possibilities for things coming up in 2023. So I'm going to go ahead and close the PowerPoint here, and we can go for some questions. Okay, very good. I think Metaverse is a way ahead of its time. Yeah, I agree. Ugh, Metaverse, sigh. Okay, yeah, yep. And I got that water joke. Yes, I got my drink here. Yeah, had to take a drink after that accounting joke. Yeah. All right. Are we ready? By the way, I've been watching NASCAR races all week long. You know, it's been boring at Boeing. Don't mean to be punny there, but
I shouldn't say that on live streams.
I shouldn't say that on live streams.
Not about your day job.
In other words, I've had boring things to do at Boeing, so I've, yeah. Anyway, so let's go on to our next subject, will we? Do we need to stop the camera and just restart it real quick?
No, it'll be
fine.
We
don't. That's right. We're running. All right, we fixed that problem. Okay, South Korea here. Okay, a bit off topic, but have you seen that Microsoft is working on implementing ChatGPT in Bing? Oh, yes. You know, I stopped using Bing to search for things because I can't figure out what it wants me to ask it. It says, ask me a question. A question? What do I do? I've been messing with it around for a while, for a few days, and it's pretty cool. Well, I guess I ought to go mess with it. But yeah, you're right. I did see that change, but I haven't played with it yet. Some people have. Robert's come and shared with me several things that they've done with the chat, and
it's been interesting, the contrast between ChatGPT and Bing's implementation of it. Bing's implementation definitely has more personality, I think is the right word to use. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to see how well they integrate that with their services of Bing and whatnot. That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, it would be. Okay. No, and that's not a bit off topic, really. I've been playing with ChatGPT also. I'm finding it to be a little bit shallow. It probably only has an associate's degree because it definitely can't tell me about a master's program or anything like that. So definitely when I'm trying to put together a master's level script, it can't tell me what I should say. So
gonna have to write it yourself.
Still not gonna put us instructors out of work yet. Okay, so we're good. Alrighty.
We'll wait for GPT-4.
GPT 4.0.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Deep breath. Next topic. This one was interesting to me in the respect that you've got countries out there that are developing technology to track the people making transactions in cryptocurrencies. Now, why in the world would they want to do that? Well, the excuse they use is to make sure that people aren't using their funds illegally, like sending it to terrorists and other things like that. The part of the challenge, though, is that the establishment, remember the establishment, the fiat currency folks, and the Federal Reserve folks, and the people who want to keep control of the monetary system, those folks don't want a confidential, can't be tracked system, because the first thing they'll tell you is it can be used for nefarious illegal purposes. And while that's true, they haven't stopped the internet, and it's being used for a lot of illegal purposes. There's a lot of technologies out there that just because they can be used badly doesn't mean that we forego the good that they accomplish. But what they've tried to do ever since Bitcoin came out is tried to crack the surface of being able to get into the blockchain network, whatever it is, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Zcash, whatever coin it is. And they've tried to track the movement of those coins from wallet to wallet. And then, of course, because the wallets are anonymous, they've then tried to identify who the wallets are. Well, that's who the wallets belong to. Well, that's the Holy Grail. Literally, the anonymity of a user to spend money where they want to, when they want to, and how they want to depends on an oversight type agency, Big Brother call it, not knowing who that wallet belongs to. So if I have a wallet on the Bitcoin network where I keep my Bitcoin and I go buy things and sell things and, transact, the fact that a judge wants to give a warrant to go to a company to divulge who owns that wallet is not exactly appealing to me. So use that as a backdrop to this article. So they're deploying a cryptocurrency tracking system at the beginning of 2023. What they want to do literally is it'll be used to monitor transaction history, extract information related to transactions, and check the source of funds before and after remittance, according to local outlet KH Games. So the whole idea is they want to track who it's being paid to, where it's coming from, and where the source of funds came from that were put into that wallet so that it could be spent. Okay? Now that's a lot similar, to what they call the know your customer laws that exist for banks. If you didn't know it, when you go to a bank and you take more than $10,000 worth of cash and say, I'd like to deposit this cash into my bank account, the teller will then pull out a form and you have to tell where you got that cash. Now the reason is because they don't want a drug dealer down the road, hauling his cash into the bank, because all their trading is done by cash, hauling all their cash into the bank and having a legal place to spend it. So that's why they have places called illegal acts called money laundering, because they can't take it to a bank. So therefore they funnel it through a business, and they have the legitimate business then deposit it in the bank. So you just get a business going, and it doesn't have to turn a profit because all of your illicit profits go to the bank, and as long as your business doesn't make too much money, it won't look at all suspicious. So we have a couple questions. So if the U.S. implements this, it'll be solely for tax purposes. Yes, I believe that. Sure, I don't want the government knowing how or when I'm using my money. That's absolutely true. So here's the whole conundrum. The fiat currency folks, the people who want to control the monetary system both at the international level and at the country level, want to know when, how, and where you're spending your money. And frankly, that's what scares me about the central bank digital currencies that are being talked about throughout the world and in some smaller countries already implemented. So we'll see how that goes. So here's a situation where you're watching the technology unfold, but you're watching the nefarious acts of government actors trying to make sure that it doesn't do what it was initially intended to do, which was to create privacy. And so we've got a bank. As a bank teller, I've had to fill out CTRs, cash transaction forms, when people deposit or withdraw over $5,000. They've lowered it to $5,000 now. Okay, that's That's interesting. That might be just a bank policy, but at the federal level, they want you to know for every the Know Your Customer law applies to 10,000 and above. Yeah.
I want to make one comment for anybody who's followed Bitcoin since the early days, back when the Silk Road happened, which for those who don't know was basically, it was a website on the dark web, where they would use primarily Bitcoin to buy and sell things you couldn't buy openly, especially drugs. And that's been used ever since then to push these same sorts of regulations, with the idea that we have to know what people are buying and selling with crypto, because if it was legal, they'd be doing it with dollars. The only reason to use Bitcoin is to do illegal stuff. Well, the hard part of that is, if I hand you a dollar bill, you'll never find it again. Nobody has any idea. But Bitcoin itself, you get a warrant, you find out who owns that wallet, and it's all on the blockchain. The point of the blockchain is to keep a perfect record that cannot be changed. Using Bitcoin to transact illegal things is kind of a dumb idea. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, because actually the Silk Road case is a good one, because the whole reason they were able to bring it down was because it was on the blockchain. So yeah, they were able to trace all those once they found who owned the wallets, which was, like they said, the Holy Grail. So so we've got several different banks with different policies. It looks like Justin says his bank does it at 7,000. Fills out that CTR form. It says, I've had to do it a few times due to customers paying cash for remodeling work. Yeah, the tax man takes too big a bite, and there's a lot of folks out there that, construction costs a huge piece of money, especially labor, and yeah, I've seen several situations where they've said, well, you pay me cash, I'll give you a discount, and you know why, but a lot of times you pay the cash because they're giving you a discount. So, all right, so that's that topic. All right, anything else?
No.
All right. Let's just take a quick break. I'll take a drink, rest my voice for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
All righty. Well, I've saved the best for last. This is a site that I saw advertised when I was using Brave, the browser. And in Brave, I don't have Brave installed on this particular computer. In Brave, what happens is as you respond and look at web pages that are brought up for various products and services, all usually related to blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. You then get paid in what they call BAT tokens. And over the time that I've used it, I've got like $55 built up in my wallet that I use to store my BAT tokens. And so that's one place that you earn a little bit of passive cash. And so one of the ads that came up were these replay rewards. And replay rewards are what they call rewarded TV. In other words, it's kind of the reverse of paying for a cable subscription. What happens is as you watch, you get paid to watch for the first hour. And as you continue to watch, of course, the whole idea of the replay rewards is it pays the actors or people that have their shows on here directly, or to their estates, because some of the movies are kind of old. I saw an old Vincent Price horror movie on there, so an old black and white horror movie. Now, I've already created my account, so I'm going to go ahead and get into my account, so I won't end up showing you the account creation part of this. But if I click on Watch Rewarded TV here, it should take me into here, and I should be able to, and see it comes up with CoinDesk, okay? So what I need to do is I need to log in. There we go. And my email, oh, not you. Okay, here we go. And yeah, I'll go ahead and save it. Okay, so I have this muted right now, but technically each day that you come, the first hour that you watch, you can get paid in what they call RPlay coins. Now, I tried to find the value of RPlay coins, and I could not see them on any exchange yet. So obviously this is new enough that it's not yet got a market for the RPlay coins. So that's okay. Well, it just expanded the size. I did not do anything. It just automatically expanded because I left it in a small window for a while. Let's see. I just hit escape to go back. So here they have regular network programming, kind of scheduled type programming in here. And you can see they're not your HBO, Showtime, and major channels by any means. You're going to find probably some interesting stuff here that you might not normally watch, okay? But you've got a whole movies channel, Flicks Fling Now, channels that you haven't heard before, and Thriller, The House That Screamed, and Dementia 13. Oh, I can't wait to watch those. I do like the horror genre, so I probably will watch one of those. Of course, you've got several different categories that you can watch here. Cars, I don't think they've really got anything for cars in here. So the regular channels that actually have schedules are quite a bit. Well, there's Sports Grid. I don't know why that didn't come up when, sports here. There's Sports Grid and Sports News, and so there's different things. It looks like they've got a few channels for sports. Poker night. Wow, learn poker. Okay. So basically the idea here is that you can actually earn different amounts. So let's go and look at earn replay rewards. Whoops. I'm still a novice at navigating this web page. My rewards. That's what I wanted to see here. Oh, come on.
It wants you to do a CAPTCHA, it looks like.
Okay. And send the link. It's going to send a link to my email. Check your email. I wish they would do it to my phone number.
So where does the funding come for this site?
Good question. Don't know yet.
Interesting. Okay. It appears as though it might just be in the kind of the seed stage where it's trying to get a user base that it could then start to sell to movie companies or somebody like that to make them want to produce content for this. It reminds me somewhat of a blockchain we covered. I think it was in the last semester for Hollywood that it allowed people to put the contracts with the actors on a smart contract, so that when the company is paid, the actors and actresses each get a piece of the pie according to a smart contract. Avoids a lot of unnecessary lawsuits, I guess.
Okay, well, I logged in on my phone.
Okay.
Account synced. And now let's look at my rewards, see if it doesn't want to log me in.
No, it looks like they want you to log in with the same browser that you're using here.
Yeah, and so I'd have to have my email on this particular computer, which I don't have it on this particular computer. But I have a total of 0.21 RPlay rewards. So
cool.
0.21, okay. 21/100ths of an RPlay that I don't know the value of. Okay, fine. So it's in its infancy, but you can see where things are going. There is some fun stuff on here. I just got to. You probably don't even know who Vincent Price is, most of you. But Vincent Price was a really scary guy that did a lot of scary movies back in my younger years. Bela Lugosi came before him and did a lot of scary movies in the black and white era, and Vincent Price came along and kind of took over after Bela Lugosi retired and carried it on until about the 80s or 90s, something like that. So pretty cool. So anyway, that's our play rewards. So go play, have fun, earn some money, because you don't have to pay a darn thing for this, and you might find some fun stuff to watch. Okay. So Robert, how about if you call for a roll call?
Okay.
And we'll let everybody go about 15 minutes early or so. By the way, you'll notice that as we get farther into the class, that I tend not to keep you clear till the 7 o'clock hour. That's a little bit by design because you've got busy things to do as the classes get going, and I know if the instructors are anything like when I went to school, you always had 60-70% of the work in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I hated that. Couldn't they plan things out a little better? I try to make sure that you're planned out a little better than that. So hopefully you'll be able to get things going just fine. All right. So thanks for coming, everyone. And we'll go ahead and look forward to seeing you next week. I'll leave the stream open for a little while for everybody to sign off and let me know that you're still here. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. And post some more great articles. I'm loving it. See you later.